Hi and welcome to another Halloween video. I know that not everyone is into mega gruesome and terrifying books for Halloween, but I wanted to show you some books that I think have, a good Halloween-y twist to them, which you can still enjoy, in the dark without getting nightmares. Today I'm going to tell you about some more sort of realistic books. Not all of them are contemporary, but most of these don't have like ghosts or magic or things like that. I'm saving that for another video, which will be going up soon. Although with creepy and Halloween-y books, very often there is like a slight touch of something unnatural, so I can't promise that they're like 100% real life. I'm going to start with one that I hadn't thought about, and I was looking at my shelves and I was like, right, this one is perfect. It is These Shallow Graves by Jennifer Donnelly. It is set in New York in the 1890s. It's about a girl called Josephine Montfort, and she is part of this really rich family, but then when her dad dies of what the newspaper reports is suicide, but she thinks it might have been murder, she goes on a hunt to figure out what has actually happened. There's lots of family secrets, but this book actually starts off in a graveyard when Josephine and a young reporter she's become friends with and one of his acquaintances try and dig up a body. So this kind of takes place in the underworld of 1890s New York, including a morgue and an asylum. So it has a very good Halloween atmosphere, and it is also one that you will like race through really, really quickly. I've also realized that a lot of the books in this particular video are young adult, because I think once you get to adult thrillers and things like that, it gets pretty gory pretty quickly. Next up, there is a book that I really, really enjoyed. It came out quite recently. I've mentioned it before. I haven't done like a full review or anything, but I want to talk about it in this video, and it is E. Lockhart's Genuine Fraud. You might remember E. Lockhart from We Were Liars. This is her new book, and it is told in a very special way, which I don't really want to give away because it was fun discovering that while I was reading it. I don't really know how to go about explaining this book, but it's about the main character, who is called Jewel, who basically says she's a social chameleon and an athlete. She knows how to put on a good disguise. It starts with her being on the run, and obviously something has happened. The book takes like a really great dark twist, so it's like really high pace, and what I feel like what makes this a great Halloween read is that it is just really creepy and twisted. Like We Were Liars, I think this is one you can read in one sitting. The next one is one that I actually listened to the audiobook, and I would really, really recommend the audiobook. It is The Accident Season by Moira Fowley Doyle. This is one of the ones that I was talking about where it has a bit of a supernatural twist. Or does it? It's set in Ireland, and because the narrator of the audiobook has an amazing Irish accent, it really sets the scene. It's about Cara and her family, and what happens to them every year is that they have the accident season for, I think, about a month. It is like bad luck is following them around. They bump into things, they get bruises, but they also break legs or almost get into car crashes, and their mother is obviously very protective about them. But what starts this off is that this accident season, Cara discovers that there is this girl from school who is in each of her pictures on her phone, even though she was not present there at all. This has a really nice combination of being quite spooky, but also some like fun teenage rebellion. There is a really creepy mansion. This one feels more like properly ghosty and witchy, so if you're looking for something like that, check that out. Then there's one that I haven't read yet, but I just wanted to show that it exists because it's by the same author. So this is her new book, Spellbook of the Lost and Found, which is supposed to be more witchy, so more for like if you like the craft, but I haven't read that yet. I think this might be my Halloween day read. I'm very excited to see like if this has the same creepy atmosphere. This was one that I hadn't thought of either, but again, I saw it in my bookshelf and I was like, of course. Not as heavy on the creepy side, more of a subtle creepy. It is Never Let Me Go. This is the film cover. I actually really like this film cover. Also, the film is fantastic, and I think I'm due a rewatch. But this book really surprised me when I read it a couple of years ago. The basic setup is that this is a sort of slightly alternative version or future version of England, and it's about these three kids that live in a boarding school. There seems to be something a little bit different about the boarding school. I can never quite remember when the book sort of reveals its secrets and how far into it is, so I don't really want to mention what it is, but I guess you can watch the film trailer if you want. This is more creepy in a way where you sort of go, how has society allowed this? How has this become this way? It is a really beautiful read as well. There's really vivid descriptions of childhood memories, which I can never remember anything that happened to me when I was that age. So if you like really beautiful writing, but you might also be a little bit into dystopia, check this one out. Finally, I have a combo. The Yellow Wallpaper. This is one of the Penguin Little Black classics. And then I also have The Yellow Room by Jess Valence. Jess Valence is a young adult author. If you don't follow her on Twitter, you are missing out. She is absolutely hilarious, but writes really good, creepy, contemporary YA. She has a new book coming out as well. Her first book is called Birdie, about really intense friendships that doesn't end very well. I would also recommend that one, but the one I have here is The Yellow Room, which is about a girl called Anna who doesn't know her dad very well. She lives with her mum, and then when she finds out that her dad has passed away, dad's girlfriend gets in touch and wants to have a relationship with her, and they start hanging out. And at the same time, there's this boy at her school who is sort of paying too much attention to her and is being really clingy and like borderline threatening, and things sort of start spiraling out of control, and there's definitely a secret in there. You're not quite sure what it is. This one is partly inspired by the classic The Yellow Wallpaper, which, as you can tell, quite short. It's actually more in there than just The Yellow Wallpaper. As it is described on the back, is a feminist story of imprisonment and madness, and it's scandalized 19th century society. So the Little Black classics are really good for if you want to read some more classics, but you're not quite sure what you like and you want to sort of dip in and out of it. If you're looking to sit back on Halloween and just read for like an hour or two, I'd recommend this one as well. And it is something that's actually referenced a lot more than you realize once you've read it. You'll see the references everywhere. Alright, so those are some sort of realistic Halloween reads that I would recommend for people who don't want anything too gory or too scary. It's really fun making a video where it's like books that I've read ages ago and books that I've recently read, and I'll bring them together and remind myself of ones that I want to reread as well. I hope these were some helpful recommendations. If you have anything that you think fits into the genre that I should read or other people should read, let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Doei!